Hey guys, it's Mrs. H. So I've been thinking a lot about you and how I can best help you in reading the notes on the staff. Now, some of you I know are really comfortable reading notes on the staff. You're really comfortable with sight reading, and that's awesome. And some of you are not quite as comfortable, and that's okay too. Wherever you are right now is the perfect place to be because we can only grow and learn from here. So, I'm going to give you a little crash course, whether you are a pro at reading notes on the staff or whether you feel like, ooh, that's not my strong suit. This is just going to be a review to help you get started. So, first of all, reading notes on the staff is just another way we organize the musical alphabet. Now, the musical alphabet has 7 letters. We start with A and we go to G. And because musicians are pretty lazy, we like to keep things really simple for ourselves. We didn't want to go all the way to 26. That's a lot. So we said, okay, let's just do the 7 and then let's start over. So our musical alphabet goes from A to G and then starts over. Now, the thing about the musical alphabet is that you can go forwards or backwards, meaning we can start with A and move forwards, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or we can go backwards. So we can go A, G, F, E, D, C, B, and we can repeat it. So it can go either way, and it doesn't have to start on A. It can start on D. It can start on F. It doesn't matter as long as we know the direction we want to go and what comes next. So we have our staff. This is just a physical representation of what note of the alphabet we're working with. We have 5 lines and 4 spaces. So if I am going to have a note on the staff, the farther down the note is, the lower it's going to sound. And vice versa, with the higher the note on the staff, the higher the sound. So we may think, okay, there's lots of lines, there's lots of staff. Okay, what are we going to do to keep track of these 7 letters? Because there's really only 7, and there's a lot of notes that we know. How do we know what note you're talking about? This is where clefs come in. Now, clefs help us in finding landmarks on the staff. For example, with our treble clef here, my little violin friends, whoop whoop, violin friends, you are reading with the treble clef. Okay. The treble clef is kind of like a fancy looking G, which that's helpful for us because when the treble clef sits on the staff, G is a landmark note that helps us move forward. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. If that doesn't make any sense, it's okay. We're going to look at it in just a second. Just know that the treble clef, G, is a landmark note. Okay? Cool, cool. Now we're going to come here to the alto clef. Oh, my beautiful violas. Oh, the crowning jewels in this wonderful, wonderful, glorious sound. Love you, violas. You're reading on the alto clef. Now, in this version of it, this style of it, kind of looks like a interesting looking 3. Um, I've seen it also kind of as an interesting looking K. However it looks, ultimately there's 2 lines and then these 2 kind of branching off points here. These are little curves. Sometimes they're just plain straight lines, but these right here in the middle, excuse me, this right here in the middle is where your C note sits. So think of this as just another way to kind of embellish C. So the C line goes right in the middle there. Okay. Cellos and basses bring the thunder. Yes, they do. we have the lovely bass clef down here. So this kind of looks like to me like a cursive F, like a lazy cursive F. So your landmark note is F. F is going to be a line that goes right in between these two dots. Okay. So bass clef, F is an identifying landmark note. Alto clef, C is a landmark note. And treble clef, G is. Now you may think, okay, well, that doesn't really mean anything to me. That's still kind of confusing. Well, let's look here. Treble clef. This is the open strings on the violin. You see here how there's this line that goes through the gut of our treble clef here. This is our G. This is a landmark line here. Okay. So if you're ever super duper confused, just remember treble clef G. Okay. This is our G line. Now, here are all of the open strings on the violin. This is an excellent tool to find other landmarks on the staff because ultimately we deal more with open strings than just one note on the staff, right, violins? So your lowest string, G, this is our G on the staff. You can tell it's super low because it is clear off the staff. It has to add in some lines. These are called ledger lines. This is really low, okay? Our next open string is D, then we have A and E. Now, violins, taking a look at these open string notes, do you see any lines going through the note? Or do all of these notes sit on a space? If you said that they sit on a space, you are right. All of your open strings are on spaces, okay? This is a great way to identify notes on the staff. Because if you're like, okay, I know I'm playing an F sharp, because Mrs. H said we're playing an F sharp, but where the heck is that going to look like on the staff? What string is that on? Here we can kind of find those landmarks. We can go and use our musical alphabet and we can start with G. So after G, we then go to A. We go A, B, C, D, E, F. So then we can find that note. Okay. That's one way. Now, violas, same thing with you. All of yours are space notes as well. Okay. Yours is low C going up to A. And you can find those landmark notes just the same. Our C note is also in the middle to kind of give us that one other landmark. That's the thing about the staff. It's all about finding those landmarks to help us find the note that we're wanting to play. Same thing with cello. Here are your open strings, C, G, D, A. Yours are all on lines. That's convenient. So violins, violas, all of your open strings are on a space on the staff. Cellos, yours are on lines. Easy peasy. And as you can see here, we have this F right in between these two dots. Another landmark. All right. Basses. Lovely, beautiful basses. Yours is a little different. Your lowest note is an E, and then you have an A and a D and a G. Now, basses, what do you notice about these notes on the staff? They're not all the same. We have a line note to a space to a line to a space. That is because your instrument is tuned a little bit differently. Your strings are a fourth apart instead of a fifth. So you go back and forth between line, space, line, space. Okay? So, let me think. Okay, well, how can I find the note that I'm looking for then? If I know this note, how do I find the next note? I don't understand. Well, With the staff, every note moves by step going from space to line, okay? Or line to space, back and forth. When we're moving through the musical alphabet in order, it will always go from space to line to space to line to space to line to space to line, forever and ever and always. So, bass clef people, my lovely cellos and basses. If I have a C, what would my next note be in the musical alphabet? If you said D, you are correct. C, D, and then what would come next? E, F, G, then back to A. Same thing here, violins. We have a G here. See, this is our one of our landmark notes. This is our G. So if we have a G here, our next note up, what would that be? Is it going to be H? Is it going to be Z? It's going to be an A. That's it. And this is also one of our open strings. That helps us too. So moving through this musical alphabet, this is going to be super helpful to you. So get very familiar with your alphabet. Going backwards and forwards, that's going to help you a lot. Now, you may think, okay, well, that's all good and dandy. I know the musical alphabet. I know and understand the lines and the spaces, but how do I play it? How do I do it? That's easy to say, but how do I do? This is where the rubber meets the road. So, reviewing our fingers, our pointer finger is 1, middle finger 2, ring finger 3, pinky 4. Now, why do I not use my thumb in the numbering system here? It's because our thumb holds our instrument. It is not in use on the strings. It is holding up the neck. So we only have these 4, okay? Now, for example, let's start with violas. If you have your open G, and we know that an open string, we have no fingers on the fingerboard. Our next note, what finger are we going to use? We're going to use a 1, and this is an A. What about our next note? We have a B and a C. Okay, so we've moved up our musical alphabet. Now let's add those numbers to help us know how to play it or how to do it now. Open G, 0. Our A is a first finger. Our B, second finger. And our C, third finger. These are all the fingers that we use on our open G string. And this is another way we can read or visualize our musical alphabet on the staff. Okay, same thing with bass clef. We have our open A string. So this is for you basses. We have our open A down here. Now, after A, we have B, C sharp, and D. Now, don't let the sharp throw you. If that's like, what the heck is happening with the sharp? Don't worry. More to come on that. But for right now, just understand that on the A string, this finger is going to be a C sharp. Okay, we're going to quickly move away from that. It will make more sense in just a second. Open A is going to be a 0 because we have no fingers on the fingerboard. So it's a 0, open A. Our B is going to be a first finger. Do you remember our index finger, our pointer finger? We're number 1. That's the finger we're using. Now, basses, this is where it gets a little fun for you. We have our 4 on the C sharp. Now, some of you may be wondering, why the heck do they have a 4 and we have a 2 or a 3? Well, that is because their instrument is very big. So their space on the string requires more, excuse me, their notes on the string require more space. in the hand, if that makes sense. So they have to stretch farther because their instrument is bigger. So instead of having to break our fingers off trying to do 1, 2, 3, 4, like the violin or the viola, we make it more comfortable by just going from 1 to 4. That fits in the hand better. Now, basses, you then go to an open D. Yours is a little bit different. So, quick review. Our musical alphabet has 4 letters. It can go either direction. It can go A through G or G through A. It can start on any letter. We just need to know which direction we're going. Okay? The staff helps us visualize the musical alphabet. It has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Clefs are a tool that we use to give us landmarks to find our way on the staff. Violins, you use treble clef, and your landmark is G. Violas, your clef is alto clef, and your landmark note is a C. Basses and cellos, you use the bass clef, and your landmark note is F. So we have all of our open strings on the staff. I would strongly suggest memorizing these 4 notes on the staff. If you can memorize where your open strings sit on the staff, you are already halfway there to reading any note on the staff. If you can identify where your open strings are on the staff, you're already, half the battle is already won because you can figure out where the other notes sit from where your open strings are. Okay? I know that reading notes on the staff can be really overwhelming. And if you still feel super confused, it's okay. This takes time. This is a system, just like any other system, that sometimes might be confusing at first. Think about when you were first learning how to read and first learning the whole alphabet. That was a lot, right? Your poor little kid mind, that was just a lot for your kindergarten self. But the more you used it and the more you practiced with it, it got easier and easier. So please give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. Take 1 note at a time. If all you can do is, well, I know where my open D string sits on the staff. Great. You are in a wonderful place. Start with where you're at and move from there. Don't get hard on yourself. You guys are wonderful. You can always come to me with questions. Keep practicing, keep working hard, and I am excited to keep playing music with you.